Hey, how's it going, everyone? Nathan coming back at you another Showdown Live. We're going to be doing some mono flying today. That's why I'm dressed up in my best kind of aviator appearance I can right now. A little bit tinted on the screen here, but maybe that'll help me out a little bit. You never know. We are going to be doing some classic mono flying balance. I think it's the best way to sort of introduce the typing and really talk about the pros and cons of it. The big thing to look for flying in general, actually, I mentioned pros and cons, but there's not a lot of cons. It's mostly pros. It's a very common, very well-respected typing. And it's basically can do just about everything fine. We're going to be running some balance with it. I think that's probably the strongest thing that lends itself towards the best, because it's got a bit of everything. If you want a defensive pivot, you have your Zapdoses, you have your flying steals like Celesteela or Skarmory or Corviknight. You got access to great recovery on Tornadus Therian with Regenerator and U-turn pivoting. You also have access to Mantine. But besides the defensive qualities, you have very good offensive pivots like Zapdos Galar, which, does this team not have Zapdos Galar? That's crazy. I love Zapdos Galar on these teams. Maroon, you're on a new one. This is a sample team. I always try to start off with a sample team to show that if you are new to a typing, there's nothing wrong with using it. It's a great place to start. But no Zapdos Galar, that's going to be interesting for us. I think it's great because it deals with the steel types that would give flying types trouble. But again, in terms of actual offensive pivots, Zapdos regular is fantastic. Landorus Therian is probably the most famous offensive pivot you can think of. There's all kinds of Tornadus or Thundurus Therian makes total sense too. But you also have access to some really fearsome sweepers. Moltres comes to mind. Dragonite is one of the best ones ever because it can come in and guaranteed get off one Dragon Dance before you can break its multi-scale. Who else am I forgetting about there? I mean, lots of Pokemon can run. You know, you'll see bulk up Landorus gravity sets. This is just a regular gravity set, which is pretty wild itself. It's gonna be a fun one. Celesteela could be a setup sweeper with Meteor Beam. I'm definitely forgetting about stuff. I mean, I built my own bird spam team where it's kind of like Gen 6, where you're just spamming flying types at them over and again. Oh, Hawlucha, we talked about that with the mono flying. Hawlucha is a ridiculous setup sweeper. Swords Dance Talonflame. Don't use this. It didn't work so well for us. We'll do a bird up video tomorrow. Bird up's on the way for sure. But oh, and here's Big Papa Oof's team that they sent us. This is much more standardized in my opinion. This will be a great one too if you guys want to use this. Zapdos Galar, I love that. Thundurus Therian. However, one thing that I don't think it's talked about with flying enough, I put out an actual YouTube poll recently on what was the best defensive typing in Pokemon. And the one that got dead last, even below the joke option of Ice, was flying. It got about 1% of the votes. And I understand that it doesn't have the same flashy resistances that Steel or Fairy or even Fire has. It hasn't been this perennial defensive force like bulky waters have been in terms of the dawn of competitive Pokemon. I get it, but I do think it's slept on because in mono flying, we've talked about how important hazards are. And sure, you're weak to Stealth Rocks, but you have complete immunity to spikes, toxic spikes, and sticky webs. I think it's a great trade. And if you look at this team that we're going to be using here, there are actually not a lot of Pokemon that are going to be that weak to hazards. I mean, I was joking about this with my bird spam team here. We have almost no heavy duty boots users on this team. Moltres Galar doesn't even need them. It's very competent with just leftovers and substitute sets. Skarmory is neutral to it. Hawlucha is neutral to it. Zapdos Galar is neutral to Stealth Rocks. Talonflame does definitely need heavy duty boots. But Landorus Therian also neutral to it. If we go to the team that we're going to be using for today's video here, we see neutral. This is a leftover, so this is one's going to be a little bit weak to Stealth Rocks. Celesteela also neutral. Tornadus Therian. That's definitely going to carry heavy duty boots. Thundurus definitely weak to it themselves, and Dragonite will cover heavy duty boots as well. But you know, Dragonite is a bad example of someone who needs heavy duty boots because of their flying typing. Because I think even if Dragonite was neutral to Stealth Rocks, like they only took 12% or 6%, they'd probably still be running heavy duty boots anyways because it's just so important that you don't crack your multi-scale swapping on entry hazards. And the fact that, yeah, you're immune to spikes and sticky webs already helps too. But yeah, heavy duty boots is just going to ensure that you have your multi-scale for sure. But yeah, I think it's slept on because the two or the three weaknesses that flying has is ice and electric. Electric is a very good typing, but we can shore that up very, very easily with a Landorus Therian. Great start. But also Thundurus Therian, who will Volt Absorb. And the threat of a Pokemon swapping in on you like Thundurus Therian here, completely free, and actually better than free, getting healed to boot by swapping in, I think is fantastic. It has you always second guessing yourself on whether you click these types here. I genuinely think that Mono Electric, I always say this and jinx myself, but I don't think Mono Electric is as disastrous as it would seem against this sort of type just because of the presence of these two. But you're always second guessing yourself. Do I click, you know, the Dazzling Gleam on the Thundurus, or do I click the Electric move on the Celesteela? I don't know. It's always a constant 50-50, right? Mono Ice is pretty well shored up by a lot of defensive steel types. If we actually ran against a Mono Ice team, that'd be tricky for sure. But if there's a single, like, you know, a Weavile on a Dark team, team, Celesteela can handle that just fine. If there is a Mammoth Swine on a ground team, Celesteela can handle that just fine. And it also shores up the weaknesses to rock types. And rocks is such an uncommon offensive typing. Sure, they're decent on the ladder too, of course. But there's just such an uncommon offensive typing that I can't think of times where I've been like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a rock type resist on this team. Damn, what am I gonna do? That never happens to me. And actually, Landorus Therian is neutral to it too as well. So it's just not. It's so easy to shore up your defensive weaknesses on this team with just a couple of pieces. It's a quality that very few types have. I think water isn't as good at that as flying. I think steel's great at it. Steel is kind of the gold standard of shoring up your defensive weaknesses, but that's steel. But yeah, it's why it's so good at balance. There's not a single thing that mono flying does poorly. Again, you have good offensive pivots, good defensive pivots, great sweepers, great wall breakers like this Landorus here. And yeah, you can easily shore up your defensive typings here. And, you know, on the topic of why that mono flying is an underrated offensive or defensive typing, no one talks about the fact that it has the greatest access to Roost, which is the best recovery you can have. Almost every flying type Pokemon is gonna have some access to Roost here, or in the case of Tornadus as Regenerator and stuff like that, right? So we're gonna see Mono Steel off the rip here. Now Mono Steel, very common typing too. Again, you would think that we would struggle with that, but we don't actually have a lot of flying type attacks on this team. So Electric type is the only stab we have here. Ground and Fighting, that's great. We have Flamethrower here instead of Air Slash. We do have Hurricane or Tornadus. We don't have any flying type attacks on Thundurus or on Dragonite. So you would think that we're in huge trouble in this situation, but we're actually not, because we only have about one stab, a flying type attack that would be resisted by this enemy team here. We're pretty well equipped, so I won't be giving no Johns, no excuses if we take an L here. To start off though, let's pick a lead matchup. Landorus, of course, is going to be super important in this matchup. The Intimidate alone will be very nice. I would not be surprised to see this Melmetal as a lead. It'll be very strong, resist a lot of our attackers' types. Excadrill 2 is going to be a Scarfer, almost guaranteed, looking at the nature of this team. As we talked about, shoring up your defensive weaknesses, Heat Ran is going to cover the Steel type's fire weaknesses, Aegislash for fighting, and Celesteela for ground. Also neutral to fighting 2, which will help. And Ferrothorn is just a do-it-all defensive mon, so lots to consider here. I like Thundurus. Well, the question is, what can I do to deny this Melmetal lead? Because it's actually not bad against us. Celesteela would be pretty great. Even if they had Thunder Punch, we would handle that just fine. And so would Zapdos on the Ice Punch. So I like both of these leads quite a bit. What I like about Celesteela is it really denies a Ferrothorn switch. I don't think they're leading Heatran here. If they did go Heatran, that would be a little bit vexing. We might have to go to Tornadus there on a pivot. It's got a decent amount of Spadef here. So I like that play quite a bit. It actually doesn't really lose to anyone now that I look at it. Besides, I mean, Ferrothorn, no, we'd Flamethrower, we'd be fine. Enemy Celesteela is a tie. I think it's a good matchup, so let's go for it here. I'm predicting that Melmetal, but we'll see for sure. Ferrothorn, well, like I said, we're well prepared for that. The question is, there's a lot of these situations when you're playing against Mono Steel is like, I've got a Fire move. Do I click the Fire move on the Steel type, or do I click the Leech Seed on the Heatran swap in? Tough decision. Leech Seed, of course, Ferrothorn will resist too. A bit of word garble there. Landorus, if we chip the Ferrothorn, could do some definite work. As we said, we actually don't love our Heatran swap-ins, especially with no Mantine. So giving them Flash Fire would be kind of costly, to be honest. So I'm a little bit torn. I could go to Tornadus too. We handle everything from this Ferrothorn fine. Would also be fine with Heatran right here. Could taunt the Heatran in return. That's a good mid-ground if I want. Or I can just Leech Seed this Heatran. Nah, okay. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it. Well, they don't even know if I have Flamethrower or not. That's an interesting part. Let's risk it. Let's go for it. Nice. Okay, so we get some huge chip there. They're gonna get their Leech Seed up. That's fine by me. Do I have someone that can do 50% to Ferrothorn at this percentage? Honestly, I'm thinking Thundurus, because these things are almost always very physically defensive as they protect there. Yeah, we get that one correct. I'm going to Focus Blast, which they're going to scout here with another Protect, or they're just going to sack their Ferrothorn turn 4 there. That's awesome for us. Aegislash, very likely to be a setup sweeper here. This thing could be Specs. I'm very comfortable with Landorus though. Not a ton of defensive investment here, but okay, yeah, and if you want to hit me with Toxic, that's fine by me. We will see Toxic here. I'm predicting actually a swap to Celesteela right now, but I'll go for Stealth Rock right here regardless. Gravity's definitely going to be helpful down the road here, but If I gravity here, it's 25%. They're doing Leech Seed on me. So if we get a future situation like that, I'll definitely be looking at gravity to punish the Celesteela swap in. For the time being, let's just try to deal with this Leech Seed option right now. I really love Tornadus right now, actually, and they don't have any hazard removal besides their extra drill, which is great. So a big thing, Celesteela is such an annoying Pokemon, it can be really troublesome to deal with all in all. The impact of taking off their leftovers cannot be understated. It really reduces their recovery to just Leech Seed from that point forward. So if I can get off this knockoff, yeah, that's great. I will happily trade a bit of Leech Seed here. In fact, let's taunt so they can't Leech Seed again as I swap in, because that did quite a bit. Wow, we're quite low now. But now I can go to Zapdos. They can't do anything to me here. Heavy Slam doing nothing. Flamethrower not doing much either. 20%, that's great. No Toxic switching that we're going to be looking for right here. We're completely walled by Excadrill, but they don't know that. So I'm thinking I might make a double switch on the Excadrill if we can at least keep the illusion of this Mon up. And they can't protect here either, of course. So they're not going to scout things out at all. We know that too. So I'm down to go to my own Celesteela, honestly. Yeah, they don't have a spot switch in anymore with Ferrothorn. If I was confident hitting a Focus Blast, maybe Thundurus is the play. And, you know, Landers could be good too, but I think it's going to be pretty important to break the Celesteela, so I don't want it getting chipped right now either. And Dragonite could work too, for sure. But let's just do Celesteela here. I think it's a safe play. They do reveal Flamethrower there. That was a crazy play on their part. Kudos to them. We have leftovers. They do not. I'm going to Leech Seed right now because we stand more to gain from this sort of Leech Seed off than they do. I'll protect. Yeah, we're slowly getting more health back, and I will Flamethrower here. 35. We actually, yeah, we just straight up beat them at this point without leftovers. Assuming we don't get burned, of course. They're going to Flamethrower again there. That Flamethrower did 40% to us. So I guess we're in a range to die. Maybe I'm being a little bit too cocky about this whole situation here. Let's go back to Zapdos. It's got Roost. I don't really care so much. If they Leech Seed, so be it. 21% there. Now, yeah, I don't love these sets. Toxic is interesting, but I really love Heat Wave so we're not walled by Excadrill, because then I could substitute and just be completely poised. They're going to probably protect right here. Or they really just want to sack their Celesteela. Oh my gosh. So Lander's looking fantastic. I don't even need that anymore. Really odd, in my opinion, that they were just so willing to sack their Celesteela that they stayed in on a Zapdos twice. They really, really wanted to try me on that. But yeah, Zapdos is still fully healthy now. That's awesome. It's going to mean it's going to match up quite well against Excadrill and Melmetal, stuff like that. Actually not going to match up against Excadrill for the same reason we've been complaining about so far. And they're calling my bluff there. They're calling it. They're saying, I know you can't answer me right now. Let's go to our... these things are normally scarfed. So I think I'll go to Landers right here. If they Rapid Spin, I get to claim a kill with E-Speed. If they Rock Slide, well, unless they crit, I would have handled that really nicely and only done like 20%, but they do crit. They're in range to kill us here. Bit on Forts, and we don't really have a great swap in either, of course. Celesteela's max defense. I guess it'll handle it fine. But they're also just content to keep the rocks up, I guess. Rock Slide almost confirms to me they're Leech Seed too. Not Leech Seed, that they're Scarfed. There's the Heat Ren there. That's great. I'll be curious to see if they predict with some sort of Stealth Rocks here. They don't do so. Let's go to our D-Knight's really nice right now, actually, especially with Leech Seed to shore up any chip we take from Lava Plume here. Risking a burn, 30% chance is not negligible, but that's great. Don't want to take another 30% chance here or just take the EQ kill. I think I'm obviously going to take the EQ kill right now. We're looking poised for a 6-0. It's a good, comfortable start right now. I do enjoy mono flying, so I can't say I'm too shocked. And as I'm gassing myself up on that, actually, we will see Melmetal, who will probably be dropping a double Iron Bash right now. Let's try Celesteela. I like the idea here. Does go to mount, but not enough to disincentivize this Leech Seed from us right here. Oh, they get crazy rolls on that one. 21 and okay, fair enough. But they're seeded here. Our 6-0 dream is dead. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it's gonna go. We can definitely take a double Iron Bash with D-Knight here, but I'm thinking this is either good Zapdos or Thundurus opportunity. Thundurus, we gotta hit a Volt Switch though. Maybe I do that and I sack the Lando. Yeah, I still got lots of stuff to beat Aegislash, especially with the substitute Zapdos, so that's fine. I'm not really too worried about breaking Aegislash, which we might be keeping Landers for, so let's do this. Let's Volt Switch out. They could actually go to Excadrill right here. Why don't we just hit a Focus Blast, gang? No, they're psycho. On a very likely Volt Switch, I thought. I thought the Volt Switch was predictable, but they get me there. Good on them. They're going to Toxic straight up, or are they going to substitute? I'm predicting the substitute. That's fine. 2 can play at that game. Yeah, we will just keep this up. We just have access to better recovery, though, with our Roost here. Although they have access to much better defenses, it looks like. So this is 50-50. I can substitute on the Shadow Ball, or I can... I can substitute on the Toxic or attack on the Shadow Ball here. Looks like we get that right. I'm predicting a defensive move from them because I'll take a lot from Discharge otherwise. No, they call my bluff. I'll Discharge again here. Just do some good chip. Do we get the full para? We don't. We're going to die as a result. So do they have King Shield? They must. They must. They simply must. Well, we can knock off here. Yeah. We can do that. And does taunt work beyond King Shield? I should know that. I do not, unfortunately. Knockoff taking off the Extradel's Scarf would actually be pretty nice too. They're gonna do that. That's fine. I could taunt on any other attack here. We'll do that, so leftovers are gone. They're not recovering up on us anymore. Because they're gonna Shadow Ball there. Fair enough. I'll go for the taunt. I don't think they Shadow Ball here. So King Shield will protect them from the taunt here? I didn't think so. No, okay, good. Well, let's go to Thunderous then on this Shadow Ball. This has gotten a little bit messy, but I'm still pretty comfortable. I'm protecting my win conditions here. I'm not too worried. Now, actually, this is not great because they could Volt Switch or they can stay in or whatever. My opponent's been pretty quick to stay in so far, so I'll Volt Switch. Yeah, they definitely do not like to switch my opponent. That's something that we can definitely point out here. Melmetal comes in. I'll get rid of the band. Exegil comes in. I think we survive Rock Slide unless I'm mistaken. So I'll knock off here. I guess I am mistaken there. But Thunderous can hit. I mean, all this, it's worth noting. I'm being a little bit reckless, but we can Dragon Hits with Dragonite at any point and kind of win with EQ. Melmetal's kind of scary, but we'll be fine. Although we don't outspeed Excadrill, so it'd be nice to limit it here. Let's go with Thunderous, and I'll Focus Blast. A hit would be great. There we go. So we're pretty poised right there. So got a little bit dicey, but I thought it was pretty good with protecting my win conditions there. GG to our opponent, though. We definitely ID'd some tendencies of theirs. They didn't love to switch so much. Once they kind of got in on a situation where there's a 50-50 where they could do something defensive, reserve them on, or attack aggressively, they were pretty quick to attack and not switch. So that was good that we picked up on that there. Very sort of classic mono flying balance from our opponent here. On the offensive side, seeing the Moltres Galar over a possible Mantine. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for. Managing hazards is going to be very important here, of course. Getting rocks up would be great. Landorus not going to be too important here, so it's actually a decent lead if we get up Stealth Rocks early. That'd be great to manage this team's crazy offense. I don't even know if I see an actual defogger here, to be honest. Landorus could have it. Seems like a decent candidate to be a Scarfer among these three. I think technically Dragonite gets it, but I'd be shocked if they're running it. So they either don't have defog or it's on Landorus is my prediction here. Food for thought. Their own Landorus is a lead we don't love, of course. Not so much. Our Zapdos could be okay if we do something about theirs. Again, having the only stat be electric. Maroon, you're on a new one here with this team build. Tornadus Therian, though, I actually really like. I like it kind of... I don't think we're going to see Dragonite here. It's got a good matchup here against the Zapdos Galar. It's got a pretty bad matchup against the Thunderous Therian, but we have comfortable swap-ins there with our own, of course. Don't think we're going to see the Moltres Galar as a lead matchup, but we could also taunt there, which would be great. We could taunt here, which would be great, or knock off those leftovers, which we ID'd is so important. And importantly, that's kind of the reason why I kind of have honed in on this Tornadus, is I like its matchup versus a lead Landorus. So let's run it. I'm pretty comfortable with it. Yep, they're going to go with this here. I could either taunt to deny rocks, but the fact that they're leading with it suggests that it is rocks. I was trying to talk myself into knocking off a possible Scarf U-turn, whatever, but I like taunt here. Yeah, keep your rocks. Keep your rocks. They're going to knock off our boots. That's pretty big, but we're going to try to keep rocks from going up at least. I'm going to see either Scarf get removed, Rocky Helmets. We take a ton of damage so far. Down to about 70% all told on Tornadus, who is going to be an important mon here, and they're going to get their Thunderous Therian in off that pivot. I'm likely to go to my Landorus here instead of my Thunderous if they predict my switch with something like a I don't know, a Dark Pulse, I'd rather be risking that with my not so great Landorus here. Sure, it'll beat Celesteela, but they probably won't be running that matchup for much in the first place. They do go to this here, the Nasty Plot. I probably should have seen that coming. I was expecting kind of a pivot set like our own here. So I do expect a Dark Pulse right now. Kind of scary. And this mon actually could really give us some trouble. I did not really give this thing enough respect now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Hurricane resist from Tornadus here. Completely walls our Landorus. Celesteela is too slow to do much. Zapdos Galar completely walled. Thundurus, Therian, not completely walled, but Sludge Wave is, I'm betting it's about 40%, honestly. And our Dragonite can do some stuff, but that seems a bit early in the game to be bringing it out. So this is actually a pretty yucky mon, to put it eloquently. I can Gravity into an Earthquake, actually. That's kind of a fun idea, but I think we're going to get Dark Pulse twice here for a death. But that frees up Dragonite to easily kill it, because Dragonite would probably need +1 to kill it with an Outrage, but if Gravity's up, then Dragonite could then follow up with an EQ, which I like. So that's an okay idea. Doing that strategy kind of forfeits Stealth Rocks early on, but at this point, looking at how poor my switch-ins are, I kind of feel obligated to do so. Yeah, we do get that. I don't even know who I'd be getting rocks up against at this point, too, so Landorus does kind of seem like the go-to sack right now. Celesteela would be a fine switch in on Psychic, but yeah, man, this kind of came out of nowhere, at least for me. Well, let's EQ here. So we're gonna go Dragonite right now. So I'm gonna Dragon Dance. If they will live one hit, unless they don't flinch us. Full pair would be terrible right here, actually. So we're gonna get that off. We'll be faster. EQ will kill. They can't even go to Celesteela as a switch right now, so that's kind of some cool synergy between that and the Landorus right there. Don't see a lot of Gravity Revenge kills on a flying team, but we'll take it. As they're going to go to the Landorus right now, don't think Landorus has anything to OHKO us besides, of course, the obvious Earthquake. So I might just Outrage here, sadly. This is a really important mon. I could definitely put in some work against this team right now, but kind of repeating the favor, we don't have any switch in for Gravity ourselves, so this is probably our best bet. And Outrage is going to do good damage. We're talking about probably 60% right now. 50, that's it. So super defensively invested. Bit of a bummer, but we can bounce back. We can bounce back. No rocks too. So we gotta go to something right now that denies rocks. I'm tempted to go to our own Tornadus and Hurricane, because it's obviously got physical investment based on how well it took that Outrage. And they're going to expect the taunt from us too, so I don't think they would go for Stealth Rocks in that situation. I like that play. I could go to Celesteela, but that gives up rocks for free. Zapdos as well. Thundurus can't OHKO. So yeah, I think we got to do this. They have a pretty easy swatch. I keep doing swatch in. What is wrong with you, Nathan? Switch in with Celesteela. But we can taunt them afterwards, or we can knock them off, or whatever. But we do hit the Hurricane. Thank God. We've actually been quite lucky with our 70% accurate moves today. That's a relief. So that's likely going to be a... I don't know. I'd be kind of hard pressed to say. Moltres Galar is possible, but I like our taunt in that situation. Same goes for Dragonite. Celesteela. So I think I'm going to knock off here. Actually, man, now that I think about it, this is going to be Meteor Beam for sure, isn't it? So if I knock off, that would stop the Power Herb. And if they aren't Meteor Beam, the knockoff's great too, because it's a defensive leftover set. So yeah, let's run it here. I'm guessing, yeah, so that's awesome for us. We kind of saw through that. Celesteela, let's hope takes it pretty well here. It is physically invested, not especially. I will Leech Seed here. I don't think they can really break us. Oh, they have Flamethrower. They don't have to run that on this set. Well, shows what I know. Our best special attacker at this juncture is Thundurus, but I don't think Thundurus can OHKO at this range. Whereas Zapdos can probably take one hit of a Flamethrower here. Definitely a Flash Cannon. I like that play, and we can keep Thundurus as a bit of ace in the hole for ourselves here. One of these two. I should calc this though. If we can OHKO with Thundurus, I'll look like an idiot for doing otherwise. So we're gonna take a quick little journey to the calc here against your average. Meteor Beam, Celesteela, Thunderbolt doing 94, huh? On a timid one. Okay, see, that's why I checked that out, because I would have gone to Zapdos so I can tank a hit and then return fire. But if Thunderbolt's doing that much, and no one can really swap into it either, of course. Oh, Volt Switch is all we got. Oh my God. Nathan. Oh, 73 to 86. Let's check out the number on this roll. Let's see what the odds are. Never tell me the odds. 31%. Never tell me the odds. Oh, we get there. That is excellent news. So now we can go to our Zapdos here and Toxic on either of these two. Discharge on this one. Although Discharge, you can make an argument for doing against any of these remaining Pokemon because the possibility of a Paralyze would be so excellent. I'm guessing they go to Moltres Galar and they just start swinging though. Yeah, we see that. And boy, we do not have a lot of Spadef. We are max HP, it looks like. Discharge would do more damage, looking like a 2-hit KO sort of range. I think I'll Discharge. 61. As they are weakness policy. Ah, crap. And the agility there. Well, that's a lost game. That's totally a lost game. I was not expecting weakness policy. I was thinking about leftovers, or I was thinking about definitely heavy duty boots. Not that this would have been great if we had had rocks up so we could ID that earlier on. Yeah, damn, that's on me. That's I say I didn't expect that, but that was something I should have totally seen coming. Unless we can live this hit, there's no way. No, if Zapdos got O-code. Definitely the Berserk plus the weakness policy. That's frustrating. Total misplay from me there. I could have Toxic'd and been pretty well off. I gotta get one more now. I can't end on that sour note. Unless they have a terrible speed tier right here. But no, even then Dragonite would win. Damn. That's a hard L to swallow. So we gotta get one more. That's all there is to it. Let's see if we can even myself out here. Weakness policy is something I never see coming, but that's a good lesson right there. I won't make that mistake twice. We're up against mono fighting right now, so obviously the advantage is on our side. Sure, we don't have a lot of flying type attacks, but the way that mono fighting works, we're trying to spam the fighting type attacks at us, we're well equipped for. So let's lead out with our, I talked about why I think Cobalion's so good. So Landorus would be great there. Landorus's only bad matchups would be the Keldeo. Keldeo's actually gonna give us a bit of pause for sure. But yeah, otherwise there's not, well, actually Zapdos is a pretty bad matchup too with their Defiant boost to ignore our Intimidate and actually reverse it there. So that's a decent possibility. So I'm liking Thundurus if I think that's what they're gonna go with. What's our speed tier compared? Yeah, we're faster too. I really like that. If I'm wrong about Cobalion, then I go to Tornadus and Defog. But then that gives them a free paralyzed sort of business there. I could go to Landorus if they go to Cobalion on a pivot. So a little bit of a lazy lead for us. Okay, maybe should have trusted my gut there. But if I were them, I would have expected the Landorus lead and gone to Zapdos. So I kind of maybe overplayed it there. But this will be fine. Yeah, not a lot of Spadef there. Landorus, nice and easy. We can get up our own rocks, of course. Who would you even go to right here? Keldeo. So EQ would do so much. They have no, well, they have Zapdos too. I'll Stealth Rock here. Covers the Zapdos switch in. Not so important against a flying team. They're, 6 resist across the board here. They do go to Zapdos though, like I thought. So they'll do a ton here with an attack. I'd be surprised if they do a fighting type attack here. So Celesteela should be pretty safe. Tornadus works too, actually. But I'm expecting a Brave Bird. So let's go to Celesteela. Even a U-turn would make sense. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Keldeo, we would live a hit, I'm reasonably sure. And I can go for a Leech Seed or something. Cobalion makes the appearance though. So we're talking about Volt Switch, Thunder Wave, all that stuff. I'm gonna go to Thundurus. Handles Iron Head, even close combat, fine. If they go for some sort of electric attack, we handle that fine. And yeah, they're gonna stay in here. Boy, I've been hitting all the Focus Blasts today. We could hit another one. Let's do it. Let's do it. You know what? Exactly. I knew the same thing. We kind of completely wall this Cobalion. Iron Head is the worst case scenario there. They know that we're choice locked. This will still do like 30% here. That's fine. I expect a U-turn to be honest, because we do resist a Brave Bird and a superpower. But Focus Blast hitting them is only doing another 24%, but that does bring them down to like 40% all told, and it is a bit of a threat for us here. That would force in, I don't even know. I think they just U-turn here, honestly. And then they're really low. Okay, shows what I know. Man, we are just messing things up. That's okay. As long as we can bounce back, that's fine. That's fine. Blaze Kick is smart on their part for sure. I like Tornadus if that's the fact. No switch in for Hurricane there. Yeah, let's do that. And with I don't even need a default at this point as long as Thunderous is dead. Everyone else can handle Stealth Rocks pretty fine. Zapdos, I guess, maybe would like them off, but I don't like our odds of getting Stealth Rocks back as easily as they do. So let's go to you. Let's drop a little Hurricane action here. No switch in. They're going to sack something. A lot of this game might come down. This is my only flying type attacker. A lot of this game might come down to accuracy of these Hurricanes. But there's one hit to go for a second. Again, we kind of handle everything except for Volt Switch just fine here. But the fact that they're taunt tells me that they're not Thunder Wave. Let's just hit a Hurricane. Oh no, I was saying we were lucky with these earlier. So they are Thunder Wave. They're just not Volt Switch. Man, I disagree with that, but that works for them. They're gonna go for the Paraflinch here. Wow, we actually hit it through the Paralyze and the Iron Head. That's crazy. Trinity definitely gonna be reduced as an attacker at this point, but I still really like our odds of getting a good Dragonite sweep going at this stage. Yeah, Zapdos super low. Tarak gonna make an appearance here. Let's go to our Landorus. It's about as good of an answer as we're gonna find for this thing. As they go for a Stone Edge. 42. Is that banded? Oh my gosh, it should not be hitting that hard after Intimidate. That seems to be banded to me. Let's go for a Ollie Q. That's definitely banded. So they hit those. We actually trade straight up. That was our most advanced position there, but that's fine, I guess, because Terrakion, that could have absolutely tore a hole through our team as is. So I'm okay with that. Zapdos actually at this point is looking quite disgusting too. If they go, yeah, if they had gone Urshifu, I would have been kind of upset. But this is fine by us. I think we're going to see a U-turn here into maybe even Toxicroak. In which case I would want to discharge twice and not substitute. But if they go to Urshifu, I would want to substitute. I think I'll just discharge. I think I'm going to U-turn here. They just sack it. Okay. They're really feeling the Blaze Kick. That'll be Keldeo, I gotta imagine. Toxicroak instead, in fact. And I might just do this, and then if they kill me, and I get a Swords Dance up, or Dragon Dance up with Dragonite, I kind of just win. Yeah, if they kill this Zapdos, we can just win the game with Dragonite here. So let's go for a... I mean, Celesteela is a good answer here, and I can keep the Zapdos for Keldeo down the road. I think I'm just gonna go for the Dragonite win right now. We get the Paralyze too, so that's awesome. I want them to kill me, you know? I really want them to kill me, but I don't want them to get a free hit on my Dragonite. What's the best way to do this? Oh, dang, what's the best way to do this? Tell you what, I'll Roost. If I can get it off, great. If they attack me, that's fine. They miss a Gunk Shot, so we can go to our... Let's just pivot from this win con. We'll still keep the Dragonite in the back. The fact that I can get the Zapdos up to full means that we're in a great spot to answer Keldeo here. I'll Leech Seed. They're going to Swords Dance. They're going to expect to Protect right now, so I'll Flamethrower. Except I can't get a single read right today, I guess. Jeez, Nathan, what is wrong with you? I overpredicted, but I just totally thought they'd expect to Protect there. We cannot predict something to save our lives right now. Wicked Blow gonna come in right now. Let's go for a... I wonder if you would live one. It's defensive. No, you get O-Code for sure if you're banded. I think that is banded. Although Terrakion's already banded and we haven't seen a Scarfer yet. That's a possibility. Actually, if there's a Scarfer, we could be in some trouble. Let's go for... But if there's a Scarfer, actually, then the Celesteela will reveal all right now. So let's go for... Is Flamethrower stronger than Heavy Slam? Do they resist Heavy Slam / weak? Or Shifu? No, I'll go for Heavy Slam then. Oh, they're Bulk Up. Man, I can't get anything right. I can't get a single thing right. So I guess that's a Scarf Keldeo. Wicked Blow, we do live. That's awesome. We'll get that back up. They have to kill me here. I think Zapdos lives 1, but Tornadus might live 1. Dragonite. Here's what we're gonna do. Zapdos can beat Keldeo. Dragonite can't really at +1 if it's Scarfer, like I kind of predicted at this point. Although I thought the Zapdos was a Scarfer, so maybe it's Specs. I don't know. Anyways, I can handle Keldeo fine with Zapdos and Tornadus. That combination. We need some pretty terrible luck to lose, all told. But Dragonite can beat this Urshifu right now. So let's go for that right now and just Outrage, I guess. I could Dragonite to be faster than them then. And no, let's just Outrage. It covers a Keldeo swap better. Yeah, you're out. Oh, at least you can finish it off actually. And then you're forced to lock into a weak Icy Wind if anything else. And Zapdos can handle that just fine. So great. Just great. Dragonite coming in clutch a couple times here. My favorite Pokemon. Glad to see it put in the work right now. That's awesome. GG to our opponent. Still, that was an easy win game too, if not for that Moltres Galard play. I could have just Toxic and won. That's, I hope you guys are crying in the comments like I am right now, knowing how we misplayed that. Oh my gosh, there's got to be one misplay. There's got to be one misplay. But oops. Thank you guys so much for watching. Regardless, be sure to check in tomorrow for another live. We're gonna be doing some really dumb team building. I've got a funny idea for that. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take it easy.